Go, Glove.
Well, g'day race fans, welcome to the V8 Veterans round number 2 tonight, live from Le Mans. We are here above the circuit now, about to take you down to the racetrack for tonight's event. 300 kilometers, 22 laps around this famous circuit. And here is some of the race information for tonight, round number 2, Le Mans 300. And 13.62 kilometers around this circuit. Previously, the Vets race number 4, and it's some previous winners. Stephen Varga McKnight as well. Darren McKnight, he's won a couple of times here, and Anthony Visma as well. Well, tonight qualifying has been run and done. This was the qualifying results up on your screen now. And it ended up with Greg Favell on top by half a second over Brendan Nitschke and Jeff Thomas, your top 3. It's going to be an interesting starting grid, about 2.5 minutes away from the get-go. There was no issue with the audio. I just had to finish my ice cream tonight. Sorry about that, guys. Why would you start an ice cream just before a broadcast? Jacob Neese is in the house. Hello everyone, welcome aboard. Jump into the chat, make yourselves involved in tonight's race because I will need your help. It's going to be a long night of racing otherwise, because this circuit is drawn out as long. There will be plenty of slipstreaming opportunities. There's Scotty Gamble out there. We've got Scott Neck Minute McCune as well, back for more action. Christian Smart out on the track there. Craig Friend. Who else can we see in this early part of this warm-up session? There's Jamie McKnight, Synergy Sim Racing's Wave Runner performance car, and what can he do tonight? I'll tell you what, he surprised me last week. I thought for a minute he was going to miss out completely, then all of a sudden he came and rose to the top. Todd Duggan out there as well. And as soon as this music finishes, I'm going to run you through a few details in the last minute before we get underway. And we do have, once again, Rick Viger giving us plenty of information. So welcome tonight. Here's the information from Rick. We'll put on a little bit of background music while we go through it. How about the Miami Man? How's this song? Righto, so the information from Rick Viger tonight, 22 laps, fuel burn around here, approximately 10 litres per lap. Thanks Keithy Boy for the stars, and that's an 80 litre tank starting position for the cars. So first stint should get them about 8 laps with a fuel limit of 80%, 88 litres, which means with fuel saving you get about 8 laps. Without fuel saving, the stints of 8 laps would not take much drafting to get it up to that 9 lap mark if you can get a bit of a sneaking helping hand by drafting another car. The critical laps without fuel saving are lap 6 and 14. So lap 6 being the earliest you can come in for a 2-stop strategy. Lap 14, the latest you can stop, the earliest you can stop for bringing it home on that tank of fuel. Right, about 50 seconds to go, then we will get through a 3-minute staging period where we'll go through the full grid. Jacob Neese says McCune mowing service. We'll be trying to keep it off the grass tonight. Chad Lewis out there as well, joining Evolution Racing Team. The car looking fantastic, and he is the 727 one to watch tonight. No doubt Dan Hall as well, another of the Evolution Racing Team. In fact, they're sporting, I think, a 3 or a 4 car team here in the top split for the V8 Vets. We've got some driver cams we're going to get across tonight as well, so make sure you're all over it. We've got tracking and all the telemetry available at RACESTARS TV.com as well if you want to go and see your favourite drivers and where they're at throughout the race, and not just rely on my data on the screen. So without further ado, let's get the RACESTARS theme song on and let's head down to the grid. So like I said, we're here tonight thanks to Quantum Tint Solutions for round number 2 of the V8 Veterans season number 12, and this is how they will line up for this big endurance race tonight. Well, it's a 300 kilometre race, one of the longer ones. And it will be Greg Favell off the front row of the grid. Brendan Nitschke starts P2 alongside him. Jeff Thomas and Michael Dumbrell on the second row. Craig Friend starts alongside Michael Stewart off the third row. Then it's Scott Gamble, Jamie McKnight and Sharp and Young. A very fast top 10 we've got there tonight, all separated by just over 1.1 seconds. Jason Dixon tonight out of 11 with David Kirby alongside him out of 12. 13th on the grid, Dan Hall. He starts alongside Chad Lewis, and then it's Christian Smart, Matt Vanderkran, Scott McCune down in 17th with Favell. Then you've got Cairns, Benz, Chrisdale, King, Visma and Preston, your top 24. 25th on the grid tonight. Steve Kennedy with Travis Hunt, Nickel, Vigers there with Hall, Vanderkran, then it's Norris, Hanson, Ritchie and Fewens in 34th. Warren Davis from 35th on the grid tonight. Stephen Banks rounds out your 36th. 37th on the grid, it's Andrew Hoffman with Matty Parker down in 38th. Todd Parks in 39th. Dave Coleman is in the safety car. Brenton O'Brien will start from the back tonight, 41st position, with Todd Duggan alongside him right at the back of the field. We are set to go racing here for the V8 Veterans live on RACESTARS TV. Let's head down now and pick up your pole sitter who hasn't actually formed on the grid yet. There is a shot of Michael Dumbrell. Jeff Thomas just appearing now. I love the way they just appear out of thin air onto the grid. And boy, that's loud, isn't it? That was our alert, so I have to try and just turn that down somehow. But hello. What's going on? We're going to have a quick look at some driver cams, like I said, once we get underway tonight, and we've got plenty of them. We've got about 6 driver cams, so that's fantastic. And we'll also hear a little bit from race control throughout the night too, which would be interesting. That's Matty Wayne with the 500 stars. That's what the big ding was. Thanks, Matty. And Matty wins. Appreciate it, man. Let's get set. We're still waiting for Favell and Nitschke to appear on the grid. Let's hope there's no issue with those cars. I don't think there will be. And just for a bit of housekeeping as well, the Friday night Split 2 broadcast will be broadcast this week on Sunday night, 8 o'clock. So stick that in your calendars. 8 o'clock Sunday night, we'll be live for that one. So make sure you be there or be square. Just having a quick look now at the drivers, all looking very, very fine and dandy over in their room. There they are, getting set to go. So we're not far off a start. We're about 30 seconds, in fact, off a start. All drivers now on the grid. Greg Favell, pole position. He'll run around the outside towards turn 1 and 2. So he needs to get a good start here. He has to make sure Nitschke doesn't just get a little bit of a jump from P2 and maybe challenge him into the start of the race. There is the gap. You can see about a car and a half is the length of difference between the two starting positions there. Right, anyone else a little bit nervous with this one tonight? It's a big race, 300 kilometres. Uncle Hutto's in the house. Will Wilson as well. Hello, welcome aboard. And Rubik's Cube as well. We're waiting for the green light now. The revs rise here from Le Mans for round number 2, the V8 Veterans Season 12. And there's your green light. Great jump from P2 for Nitschke. Got away very, very well in the end. They roar past us as they get up to speed. And it is by half a car length. In fact, Greg Favell's got him back. We'll have a look at the long shot as they sweep through this first couple of corners now. And in the background, already positions being made up by a couple of drivers. Greg Sharp, I think, has made up one position. So far, so good. And running right is one of the HSR cars through there. But, oh, no, he's gone around. That's Michael Stewart has gone around. He sits in the middle of the pack now. He's stricken there and hopefully doesn't get collected. Everyone's gone either side of him and he's got away with that. Luckily, Favell made the perfect start out in front now. He leads by almost a second. He'll be working very hard to try and break the toe here early on. Dumbrell up into third, moves up a position. Gamble made up one as well. Young's made up 3 positions. He leads our little second pack with Dan Hall also making up a couple of positions. And now we get into slipstream territory. Check it out, Greg Favell, Taipan eSports leads us away. This fast shot will just show how quick the cars are as they go past us here. Look at that, approaching 300 kph. You can see already that gap between the first and the second pack opening up. Scott Gamble there, right on the back of Craig Friend as well. They settle in to this first lap of the race. Remember, 300 kilometres around here, 300 Ks. You don't want to throw it away on this opening lap, which a couple have. There's a dust up in the background here. That's Damien Cairns. Oh no, big contact. Cairns being belted around here like a pinball. And he ends up with, I think, Matty Parker with him there. So, big incident there. And that has cost them. They've got an engine failure too from a couple of cars. Look at that. We've got 2 smoking cars in this pack. And I think big trouble. The long shot here from the chopper shows us nothing, but this shot will give us a better indication. That might be Stuart Hall, is it? Stuart Hall with huge damage, and also Chad Lewis. Both those cars look like they've been shot down by the Red Baron tonight. They are in big trouble, and it's a long way back to the pit lane as well, so they're going to have to try and limp their way around. Meanwhile, out in front, no issues at all for this man. Greg Favell looking back, leads by 0.8 of a second. We've got another spinner. Craig Frender's gone around. So, and who's that with him? Is that Jason Dixon? I'm just trying to see. No, it's Jeff Thomas for JWM Motorsports. He's gone around as well. I'm trying to catch him as he falls down the order. There he is. So the JWM car has gone around. And, pressure-packed opening lap, 45-car grid. We expected some fireworks, but a couple of drivers have had their 300k race absolutely thrown out the window on this opening lap. Big drama. Sean Leyland says amazing drama. Yeah, it's amazing. Hello, Christine, as well. Thanks for the stars. Deborah, hello. Welcome aboard tonight. Strong quali by Craig. Nice work, says Rubik's Cube earlier on too. And will we get a safety car on this opening lap? We were told from race control that if there was to be a safety car tonight, it would just be a one-lap safety car. So far, race control and Dave Coleman have not ventured out of the pit lane in that Porsche safety car. So it looks like we're going to stay on the green. Damien Cairns has gone all the way back to the pit. Sadly for him, this is the sight for Damien, and it's a sad sight. There he is. He's back in the pit lane and out of this race for now. He'll get back out there and hopefully, with the help of a safety car, might just sneak back into it at some point. But sadly, Damien,
I've never heard anything called.
Sitting out for now. Right, Jamie McKnight sitting on the back of Paul Young at the moment. Let's jump on board with Jamie. So we remember back to a couple of seasons ago, this track, Jamie McKnight, he was a fuel saving master around here, and at the time his teammate Varga, he took one for the team from memory, didn't he? Memory McKnight got him right at the end, or was it the other way around? I know one of them helped the other one. Someone might remind me who came out on top, but McKnight crosses the line with a 4:08 opening lap time there, and he's already 8.8 seconds behind the race leader in 5th place. So is the gap, so it's huge, isn't it, already? It's opening out. Dumbrell did a nice job to jump a position into 3rd at the start. Michael Dumbrell, one of our drivers that continually gives us full access to his driver cam. There he is tonight, and he's got to try and stay in touch with the leaders. There's the look forward. You can see it's already a gap between himself and Nitschke, 3.6 seconds, and sitting in P3, so on for a podium at this early stage. Still 21 and a bit laps to go, or 20 and a bit laps to go. Jason Dixon's got a black flag. He's just telling race control a bit of a time for a drink. Dumbrell, he loves the long straights here at Le Mans. Time to have a sip of that water that he's got in the stubby holder. And flying past us there, Paul Young further back. McKnight out of the draft there, maybe just giving a bit of clear air for the motor, maybe. I presume that's why he's out of the tow, just to keep the temperatures down. Oh, big contact. That's Jason Benz in the fence. And fence he is. And who is the other one? Was Christian Smart involved in that? There was definitely 2 cars involved in that. We'll go to a replay because I think, Jason Benz, that's costly for him. Here's the replay. So he was alongside, was it Christian Smart? It was. And let's just slow this down. Oh, Benz has moved across, and yeah, that's why you can hear Christian Smart on the race control channel just asking them to have a look at that, because Benz has come across there, his mistake, and he's wiped out the side of Christian Smart, and that's what's happened right there. So incredible drama in the first 2 laps here at what is a 300-kilometre race where you're meant to... Duggan's got a black flag for a jump start. I wonder how race control will view that one. I haven't even had a chance to catch up with you guys and see what's going on in the chat yet, because there's been just so much happening live in the action here. So Jacob Neasley says, let's go goat, smooth hands, as McKnight now closes in. Bent the fence, I think, says Will Wilson. Unfortunately, that rolls off the tongue way too easily, says Uncle Hutto. Bent's in the fence, I think that's what you are referring to there. Absolute carnage, says Jacob Neasley. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Back in the pack a little bit. Check this out. Stephen Banks having a shot at Brenton O'Brien now. And this is out in the woods. And Brenton falls back in behind now, 24th place. Still great gains in the opening few laps, carrying a little bit of front end damage, but he's made up 17 positions. Remember, qualified down the back of the order. Now he has a look back on Banks in the Century Motorsports. Was that a car around there? No, it was just a lock-up, just trailing some smoke. Looked away for a second. The Hoff's up 11 spots too in the background in that new Pecky Performance livery. Check it out. How good is it? So Andrew Hoffman moves up 11 spots now into 26 as he battles with Greg Sharp and Brenton O'Brien. There's Bence in a very bent looking Holden Commodore right now, just trying to probably limp back to the pits. The issue is you've really got to try and sneak through to lap 6. If you can't get through to lap 6 for your first pit stop, you're pretty much putting yourself on a 3-stop strategy and no doubt going to have a shocker of a race due to that without some safety cars. So it's great to see a Willie Benz representative back tonight with Jason, but not probably the start to the race he would have looked for. Favel crosses the line and a new fastest lap there for Nishki in P2. He's starting just to close that margin down slightly. Go across a few more webcams. Jeff Thomas was in the wars a little bit, and by the way, Christian Smart is in the pits, so that damage obviously requires some fixing, which will put him on the back foot. Jeff Thomas running back in 33rd place, sadly, after that incident at the start, and there he is with the new racecraft rig all set up and working very nicely for him as well. But tonight, that little bit of bad luck, some coming together with another car, has put him well back out of a contention for a top 10 probably tonight. Still a long way to go, of course. We're only lap 3 of 22 around a 13-kilometre circuit, but at the end of the day, you need luck to be on your side at a racetrack like this, as Todd Parks runs very wide and on the outside of Banks there, loses the position. Banks should sweep around, although Banks has just thrown it in too deep as well. So a few mistakes being made. This is a good shot, just showing this little battle between 4 or 5 cars here. You've got Brenton O'Brien in the mix of this as well. Behind O'Brien, you've got Greg Sharp within striking distance, and look at the speed that they gather along this straightaway. It's incredible to watch, and they get alongside now, so O'Brien will get a good look at this from on board. He's just got Greg Sharp, who goes flying past him up into 23rd position now. So look at them line up, trying to get every little bit of advantage of that tow, that slipstream down these big long straightaways, and anything you can do to save some fuel at this point of the race is ideal as well. Evolution Racing Team 10th and 11th between Dan Hall and Scott Gamble. This is in this battle for 10th. Dave Kirby's in there as well. You've got Dean Flavel. He's on fire tonight. He's up into 8th position, Dino, in the DFE Motorsports car. So travelling along very, very nicely at the start. Scott McCune, or Scott Nick Minute McCune, P5 for him, and chasing Jamie McKnight at this stage as well. So he's starting to gap out, and I presume we're going to see a bit of this tonight. We'll see the cars pull a couple of seconds of gap between them as McKnight locks up once again, leaves a big face full of smoke there for Scotty to drive through. So big thanks to our drivers and their access to their webcams. We've also got Jason Dixon, who we haven't seen anything of yet. Now, how's Jason going? He was, I think, involved in that early scrap, was he? Jason's down in 31st, so yeah, he's lost a lot of positions. Another of the Taipan cars running an alternate livery. He runs the second livery that the Taipan team have, and a great setup there. Look at his sim setup, it is fantastic, but running back in 31st place now, so not going to plan at all. We might try and go across a few replays quickly now whilst things have just settled in, hopefully to a bit of a groove. Look at the margin, 3 seconds out in front for Mr. Favel. He's looking on fire. So let's just go back first of all and look at the Hoffman incident. This is right at the start of the race. Here we go. So there was movement at the back. That was Duggan, I think, at the back with the jump start. Now what happens here with the Hoff? He gets away from the line. It's an awkward little start. Gets it up on 2 wheels and spun around right at the start of the race. So that's why he lost out at the start. Then the Michael Stewart incident. This is where we saw Michael Stewart facing the wrong way. So a little bit further up. Oh, he got squeezed a bit by the 747 car. And then you'll see him now just loop around. Now watch this. The onboard will tell a very scary story here when you've got heaps of cars at full speed. Check this out. We'll speed it up to full speed. He's in no man's land. Look at this. Oh, he gets tagged there once. And just watching as they all come through, there's the smoke out of the engine. and that's in a bit of trouble there, isn't it? So that was the start of the race, and further on we had another incident with Michael Stewart. We'll flick past that one. Then there was the Chad Lewis and I think Damien Cairns incident, which we'll just check out now as well. So this is another incident further along in the field. We'll slow it down. There's Chad, and he just got into the back of Cairns, so that's what threw Cairns around, unfortunately, and I'd say Chad might wear a little bit of a drive-through penalty for that one, so that's at the start as well. So, and that caused quite a bit of carnage, and the follow-on from that took a fair few drivers with it. So let's go back to live, but hopefully that brings you up to speed with what happened at the start of this race, as we're back with the action, and Greg Favell leading by 3.3 seconds. The closest battle we've got P9 and Dean Favell. Then you got Kirby, Hall and Travis Hunt. Now brings himself into the mix. Dan Hall right behind him. They've just overtaken each other. So Travis moving up into 10th now, and gets himself ahead of Dan Hall into the braking zone. Gamble then next in order. Then John King. Jason Fewens, we haven't spoken about yet, is tonight running in 14th place. So he's managed to get himself up 20 positions in the opening part of the race. He's, of course, running in the Banter Alliance team, the joining of the Emu Sim Sports and PRA team to create this brand new team for 2022 and the rest of last season and then this season. So he's doing very well, isn't he, with Visma in behind them. Marty Hansen in this little band of cars. Then Matt Vanderkran with Craig Friend in the Old Mate and Sons Rams Home Loan car. Then you've got Pete Vanderkran, Greg Sharp, Stephen Banks and the Hoff. He's worked his way back to 23rd. So considering this guy was facing the wrong way off the starting line tonight, he's really showing some good speed in the Pecky Performance Racing car. Paul Preston behind them, another Banter Alliance car, as alongside the Hoff there, and just drops back now into 25th place. Brenton O'Brien with that damaged Holden Commodore sits in 26th. New fastest lap of the race for this man out in front, 3 minutes 54.39. Flying, we got a pit lane penalty for the 727 contact causing the incident on lap 1. So
I knew what you were trying to do.
bit of chatter going on there. So the 727 of Chad Lewis will cop a penalty for that one, pit lane drive through. So Dean Favell, 9th place now. Has dropped a position since we last saw him, but he's got Dan Hall and Travis Hunt battling very hard behind. Oh, wow, that was close. We've got a pit lane penalty for the 696 as well, for causing an incident on lap 1, for causing contact. So there's another one to go through the lane shortly. So the 696 being Craig Friend, Old Mate and Sons. If my blurry eyes here can read the right number, which I think they can. Tell you what, all this staring at computer screens, I reckon I'm going to have to get some glasses soon. I used to be able to look up at the screen and read everything. It's all starting to get a bit blurry. Bit of eye fatigue maybe, who knows. Up the top, Michael Dumbrell still sitting in P3. There he is on the long shot. He looks pretty happy and pretty set now into his rhythm. Last lap of 3 minute 56, so about 2 seconds off the pace of our lead racer, which, man, he's quick, isn't he? Oh, bit of contact there on the fence. That was Todd Parks, I think, just scraping the fence on his way through. And look at that. Did quite a bit of damage to the car. Big swipe on the right-hand side. And ahead of him, it's Anthony Visma. This is 26th, 27th place is Warren Davis then in the Banter Alliance car. Followed by Jeff Thomas, 28th. Then you got Steve Kennedy and Jason Dixon rounding out your top 30. For those interested, I might put across the top of the screen the... There you go, there's the full list of names coming across the ticker at the top now. Jason Spriggs in the house says, boys are loose tonight in the opening laps. Go get them, Greg. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, Greg's doing very well at the moment. Pretty hard to catch. You can see Nishki in the background. This is 2nd place, and you look back further to Dumbrell. The gap between the top 3 is stretched out to 10 seconds now. Then you've got Jamie McKnight. He'll be saving fuel. We know Jamie, he plays the long game. Neck Minute McCune, he's sitting in 5th. He's nicely tucked up behind McKnight at the moment. and will be taking full advantage of that fuel-saving opportunity. Then Paul Young is, we haven't really spoken too much about Paul yet tonight, but the Banter Alliance driver, he's won some races in this series. Phillip Island comes to mind, but sitting in P6, up 4 spots at the moment. Then Robert Crisdale, who is newish to the series, running beautifully at the moment. The Down Under Sim eSports driver, up 14 spots into the top 7. I love that look. We'll just freeze the camera there. Check that out. Look at the view we've got way into the distance. And it just shows the field spread as well. Look at that. You can see the cars looking way, way back. Can we focus this up somehow? We'll try our best. There we go. Check that out. So it just goes to show how long the viewing points are at this racetrack here at Le Mans. This camera, a perfect example of just that. View for days, they say. Still they come. So the field spread, I would have to think, is well over 2 minutes at the moment from the top driver to the slowest, maybe even further. Try and get that up on the data for you shortly. So the top 20 covered by just on 39 seconds. I was right, in fact. It's down to 40th place. Todd Duggan is just on 2 minutes and 2 seconds is the field spread. So it's it's actually much further than I expected this far into the race. Only lap 5 of 22. They will cover the distance pretty quickly tonight. The average speed quite high. Obviously it's a long lap, 13 kilometres, but we are travelling at higher speeds for a prolonged period of time. Jacob and Will having some good banter over on YouTube. Get involved, folks. It's good having you as part of this, and maybe we need to do some more questionnaires. And hey, it's good to see Damien Cairns back out there too. It's always hard. Like, you put in a lot of work coming into a round like this, a lot of practice, your qualifying sessions, your setting the car, they got to set up it, just getting the car into the window for yourself, setting the brake bias where you want it. And Cairns comes out and unfortunately got tagged and turned around on the opening lap, but he's got himself repaired. He's back out there. He's got one of the best camera angles for his webcam that we've ever seen. And the Taipan eSports driver running 41st, still putting in some effort. You never know, with a wave around, he might get himself back on the lead lap and get himself back into this. So you got to be in it to win it. You got to continue to push on, which Damien Cairns is doing just that right now. Dean Flavel's got Travis Hunt right underneath his rear wing at the moment as we start lap 6 for these two drivers, and that lap just gone by. Once again, Hunt was quicker. He's been quicker the last 4 laps in concession, of 1.2 seconds on lap 2, 8 tenths on lap 3, 4 tenths on lap 4, and just under 3.5 tenths, just over 3.5 tenths quicker on lap 5. So he's closed the margin. I'd expect him to probably be able to get through on this lap. Pick him up for a long shot. There, I love that. Just get him into view, and then they disappear again. And there's such a big circuit to try and cover, which is what I love about Le Mans. You come here in some fast sport cars, you come here in V8 Supercars, you're always going to get plenty of action, plenty of good racing as well. And lap 6 means we are now into our fuel window. So any of these drivers could come in, take some fuel on board, and have that 2-stop strategy take place. So there goes your race leader. P2 in shot now. Look at third coming into shot. That's Dumbrell. Then McKnight. So McKnight, McCune, Young and Crisdale, they're closer together. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Dan Hall, the Evolution Racing Team car. Behind Dan Hall, you've then got Kirby, Flavel and Hunt. Then it's a gap back to John King. So just shows how gapped out it is. But I think Kirby is about to get under... he's about to put some pressure on Dan Hall, whereas Hunt has just got past Flavel. Pit lane penalty for the car 100 for an incident on lap 2. So car 100. I wish they'd put the name there. That's Jason Benz. So Jason Benz will go through the pits and serve that drive-through penalty. That is costly at a racetrack like this. As look at this, Flavel and Hunt side by side. The drag race to the braking zone. Who it's going to be? I'm going to put my money on Hunt, I think. No, I should have chosen Flavel. Stays in front for now. So good racing between these two. So lap 6 of 22, Greg Favell out in front, leads by 5.6 seconds now. Can anything stop this man? He's been so quick. You watch him in anything at the moment, and he's dominant. This is Jamie McKnight fighting with Scott McCune for 4th position. It's all very much in a holding pattern now, as it tends to be prior to the second pit stop. We're not even at the first pit stop yet, but definitely prior to that second pit stop. Anytime, usually they're saving a lot of fuel. Once they get the second pit stop done, then it's usually gloves off. Big thanks to all the star legends as well. Christine Canstonight with 100 stars. Thanks Deborah with the 200. Maddie wins with the 500, and Keith Logan with the 100. Thanks guys. Absolute legends. We had a fun night last night with the sports sedans too. But our live star supporters are back again tonight, so thank you. We find ways to use those funds, including keeping our broadcast system here in check and up and running. Touch wood, everything's been going okay lately. So hopefully the quality's coming through nicely to you. You're getting good audio and a good feed of these drivers in full HD. As Rob Crisdale now just tries in this Down Under Sim eSports car. Tries to run here with Paul Young. The lap difference between these two, Crisdale was about a 10th quicker on the previous lap, and he's closed the margin up again. It's a little bit like a seesaw at the moment, up and down, to and fro, as Scott Gamble takes his pit stop. There's quite a few in the pits, in fact. Gamble, Van der Kraan, that's Matty, with Brenton O'Brien, Jeff Thomas, Warren Davis, and Todd Parks have all come in now for their pit stop. Jump on board now with McCune, who sits in behind McKnight, and let's just watch a little bit of this. Audio quality 10 out of 11 with curb cam. We've got a few curb cams somewhere tonight. I know I did a broadcast here a while ago for a 24-hour event, and I do have a couple of specky cameras up. This one I like in particular, which is just down near the final couple of corners. You can see it's just like a crowd camera. Just waits for cars basically to come and hang out, which is cool. Our Spec 2 camera. Oh, here comes a couple of cars coming through now. But you can see the what do you call it? Not a digger. It's a one of those machines for throwing the cars off over the fence if you need to, if they get stricken there at the final couple of corners. But yeah, we'll come back to that camera shot once we get someone coming through those final couple of corners, because it's a good way to watch them snake their way through. And there's a long shot too of those S's in the final corner. Back with your race leader, you've got to give him some airtime. Quite often he's just been scooting away from the field, and we neglect him a little bit, Greg Favell. But man, the Taipan eSports Blacktown Mazda car definitely needs our support, just to thank them and all the sponsors that have come on board to support this man who's so quick. Telehander, you mean? Or a crane? Maybe a crane is the correct terminology, I'm not sure. Travis Hunt now, battling with Dave Kirby and Dan Hall. It's a little battle for 8th place. We don't have a lot of close battles out there, to be honest with you. This one is starting to heat up, so 8th, 9th and 10th. Currently within 0.6 of a second. So just to bring you that camera I was talking about, our Spec 1 camera. Hello, there's our crowd. Just check this out as Greg Favell comes into shot behind the Porsche Experience Centre. You get a really good view of this S's and how, there he is, how it picks them up. So one of my custom camera angles, this one. Just watch the way he attacks the S's here. Takes a lot of curb with him and goes into the pit lane. That's always the way, isn't it? So he's in the pit lane after all that. What about Nitschke? Does he stay out? He goes into the pits as well. So they're all going to come into the pits here on the end of lap 7 into lap 8. Thanks, Tyson. Hello, mate. Welcome, and thanks for the 100 stars. McKnight's in the pits too. They're all coming in. Is anyone going to stay out? Robert Crisdale is. So Crisdale thinks he can get another lap. Boy, that's a risk if he can't. Imagine doing a lap around this circuit and running out of fuel towards the end of it. And Kirby stayed out as well, so maybe he's just been saving a lot of fuel sitting back there. He was in about 6th or 7th place, wasn't he? So we'll have a look at the times as well. There's Favell stationary in the pits. Nitschke's in up on the blocks now to take his stop. There's a train of cars coming in, plus a heap of cars staying out as well. And you can just have a look down that pit lane. That's how busy it is. So we've got about 20 cars in the pits now. It's going to be busy. We're yet to see Greg Favell drop down. He's got obviously the first pit box there. Now he just dropped off the jacks there, the air jacks, and there he goes back out into the field of play. Nitschke still stationary. He just drops down now. Will anyone try and short fuel just to get some track position? Doesn't look like it. Then it's a real rush to the pit exit now. McKnight just coming out of the pits. There he is, and McCune behind them. Paul Young. So Dumbrell has come out at net third. Basically the order they were in is how they've come out of the pit lane. There's 6 cars that are in front of them that are yet to stop in this race. Crisdale, Kirby, Banks, Peter Vanderkrant, Paul Preston and Andrew Hoffman. All those drivers have gambled here on getting an extra lap of fuel out of the car. How good is Pecky Performance? Number 51 car backwards at the start of the race, now finds himself in P6. Will Wilson's comment there saying a pretty uniform pit strategy with the track this long. Yeah, you don't get a lot of variance in the pit strategy, but there's a lot of risk, I think, for this top 6 that have gone the extra lap. I mean, if they're borderline at all, I would be nervous, but obviously they know what they're doing, these guys. They've been around for a while and know they're sim racing. They've probably got their fuel calculators going as well. But if you get it wrong, it's a long push back to the pit lane. There's Peter Vanderkrant for the Angry Birds Racing Racecraft entry tonight. 4th place for him. Paul Preston, 5th place. And they'll bask in the sunlight here for a little bit of top 6 action, and then once they pit they'll obviously drop back to where they were prior to that. Jason Bentz pushing his way back through the field now. It's got Christian Smart. Now these two have already been together once tonight. They find themselves now sharing the same bit of real estate on the racetrack, so this could get a little bit interesting. Christian Smart, the back end, just sliding its way in. Jason Bentz, a bit of a wobble as well, and that was Jeff Thomas had a huge wobble. You jump on board with Christian Smart. He's got a much better exit and he should be able to get ahead, which he does, of Jeff Thomas now, and moves himself up into 24th place. So you just saw how much momentum he lost when he snaked it and lit up the rear tyres. This is Scott Gamble and John King fighting over 16th and 17th place. There's another cloud of smoke there. I think that was from Dean Flavell. Meanwhile, Dan Hall just ahead of them, fighting with Travis Hunt. That battle is still raging as well. Hoff's got his fuel abacus out, says Will Wilson. He'll need it out tonight. They're just coming around through the last 5th of the track now, the final sector. See where they're going to end up. So Crisdale's in the lane now. Stephen Banks, I think, is going to follow him. Still Kirby in as well, who's just come in for his stop. There was a bit of a gap between them. Banks, in fact, 28 seconds behind the race lead without a stop being taken yet. So Even the Hoff, 39 seconds back. You can see them all filtering into the lane now. So Preston comes in as well, and Van der Kraan into the pits. And I expect to see the Hoff peel off as well. Here he comes. He'll also dive to the right and down into the pit lane, which leaves us then with Greg Favell, who isn't that far back. In fact, there he is, coming through the final corner now. We pick him up, heading down the pit straight away. And he'll lead this race by about 10 seconds over Nitschke. So a bigger margin than I actually thought it would be after all that. So you've got Dumbrell, who's just gone through as well. And Dan Hall with Travis Hunt still glued to the back of him. These two have been at it for many a lap now, and they move up into the top 10. So in fact, up into 9th place for Hunt. So everything's back to normal now. The one that's made the biggest jump in that top 3 is Robert Crisdale. So he did do the extra lap, and he's come out of the pits there in 3rd place. Now he's gathered some track position there by taking a shorter first fuel stop. So don't be fooled by that. He's right on the tail here of Brenton Nitschke. But as I show you shortly with the strategy numbers, you'll have to pay for that a little bit later on in the race with giving some time back in the fuel stop. So he gets alongside Nitschke now, and I'll tell you what, he's pushing hard as well. So he'll shorten up the middle stint. So left-hand side of the screen, let's have a quick look at the pit time. This is how long they were stationary for. You can see 34.6 seconds for your race leader. Crisdale, 26.4. And then 33.3 for Nitschke, 34.4 for Dumbrell, 33.1 for McKnight. So the one that really stands out there is Crisdale. He's 26.4. He's almost 8 seconds difference in the fuel stop just to gather himself some track position. Whether or not Nitschke knows that, he may not, because he did do the extra lap. It might trick him a little bit here. It may actually sucker him into pushing a little bit too hard and running a pace that's above where he wants to be right now. Dumbrell in behind in 4th place, same deal. He needs to just try and make sure he runs to his strategy. Back with our battle for 10th place, and it's Travis Hunt leading Scott Gamble, John King and Dave Kirby in the fight. Dean Favell, like I said earlier, he's impressed me tonight. 9th place, up 9 positions, but he's just pulling away slightly from Travis Hunt now. He's been able to put about 6 tenths between these drivers, and I think a lot of that's also to do with the fact that Travis Hunt has Scott Gamble, really pushing onto the back of him. Now that was that Nickel, I think, complaining about maybe a bump draft. Let's have a quick look at that. Jason Dixon maybe just bumping Tim Nickel, which gave him a 1x. Now at a racetrack like this, you do see a little bit of bump drafting, and from the sounds of that, Tim wasn't very happy about it. He's wobbling around there a lot, isn't he? Tim Nickel in that orange Pecky Performance Racing highlighted car. It looks great. He's just got himself in behind Jason Dixon now. Jason Dixon running in 33rd place. Let's jump on board with him as he tucks right underneath the rear wing of Jason Fewens now. So you can just see down the bottom of your screen on his live camera feed showing exactly where he is, and watch the lines he takes through here just to try and get some advantage. Also working the throttle so gently, trying to keep the tyres. Oh, Fewens got sideways, and here we go. An opportunity now for Dixon. Gets alongside Jason Fewens, and that'll be job done. Look in the background as well, as Tim Nicol thought he'd take a bit of that. And oh wow, that was good driving. Up the fart, says Will Wilson. That's Jason Fewens doing well, but Jason Dixon now moves himself up another position. Gives a little wave to the camera whilst doing so. Knows he's on the stream. And great overtake that one, so I'm sure you'll enjoy watching that back later. You just see a lot of good drivers like Dixon, when they see that little wobble from the car in front, they know they can then pounce, and he did just that. Back to the battle for second. Favel's cleared out now, 12.5 seconds out in front, but Crisdale and Nitschke and Dumbrell are quite close together. Just on a second covering these three drivers. Crisdale, let's jump on board with him, looking back, and you can see Nitschke, Dumbrell, McKnight's within about a second and a half as well of this battle. We're starting to approach the halfway point. Look at the way Nitschke closes up with the draft, but then backs out of the throttle, saves some fuel, and holds station for now. I think they've maybe all given up the fact of winning this race. Greg Favel out in front just seems untouchable with that speed. Ben Anthony, I reckon, will be pretty happy with that. Obviously a Taipan eSports driver leading this one, and seems very hard to stay with it at the moment. Dumbrell chasing down Nitschke, getting closer and closer and closer. Let's jump on board with him as he attacks the juiced Frog Leap racing car. Close, but not close enough. Paul Hayes in the house says, go Travel, I'll be back next week. Just finishing a yacht race over in Namia. How cool is that? Hope you're well, Paul. Take care, man. Looking forward to seeing you back in the seat. And Dumbrell, you're starting to look with his eyes to the left there. I reckon that was having a bit of a look in the mirrors to see this man behind, Jamie McKnight, who's still just lurking back there. Not too far behind where the battle is at. So things have definitely settled down a little bit now as well from where we're at 5 or 6 laps ago. Especially the first 4 or 5 laps of this race were intense. There was a lot going on, a lot of incidents, a lot of pushing and shoving. 44 or 45 cars, you're going to get a little bit of that on the opening few laps of a race here. But they've now settled down into their what is a long run. Waiting for that second pit stop to come into phase. So let's have a quick look at the strategy once again. You can see on that board, Crisdale, the one that stands out, he got an extra lap out of the first tank of fuel. They're limited in the fuel tank capacity at the start, so he did very well to save a lot of fuel and also make a move on a lot of cars to do 8 laps out of the first stint. Everyone else did 7. Gamble did 6. Now that's on the cusp of only just making it a 2-stop strategy tonight.
Pit me, man, pit me.
Jason Benz just letting the drivers around him know that he's coming into the pit lane right now for his, I presume, will that be a drive-through penalty? I presume that's what he's serving now, so it took a little while for him to serve that, but Jason Benz will come through the lane. And what we're looking for is around lap 12, I think it was, from memory. No, sorry, lap 14 will be the lap for that second pit stop. So we're only 3 laps off that now, as Crisdale weaving and bucking his way down the straightaway. Now Dumbrell gets alongside. He's going to have a little look at him here. No, he's not. He tucks back in behind. I got all excited over nothing there. But he's getting a bit of clear air and got alongside, whilst Crisdale cannot shake him at the moment. Just the battle with King and Kirby. Sharp's there as well. No, it's not Sharp, it's Kirby, Favel and King. So John King up into 11th now. He just displaces Dino. And Travis Hunt just up the road, still fighting with Scott Gamble, who's got himself up into the top 10 now. 9th place. He dropped 2 positions at the start, but he's continuing this fight, pushing forward. His teammate Brenton O'Brien back in 21st place. I'll just stay with this battle for a moment because I think Travis Hunt is looking like he was about to make a move, but then doesn't. So now we'll flick back to Brenton O'Brien in 21st place. Warren Davis behind him. Davis up 13 spots into 22nd. Vanderkran and O'Brien now going wheel to wheel down the straight. And O'Brien looks like he's got the legs in that car to swing into the top 20 now in 20th position. That's very punny, Jacob. Right, there's a change up the front. Now what's happened here, because McKnight has gone from 4th to 2nd in the space of a couple of corners. Now I'm going to go searching for what may have happened here, because he's passed a couple of competitors in the space of a few corners. So let's go back and have a look, because I think it started back here. So you can see McKnight at this point was behind Dumbrell. Now, is there going to be a bit of shenanigans here? Oh, yeah, Nitschke got out of shape. Then Dumbrell got into the side of him. That gave McKnight an awesome run onto the straightaway. So he's already put Dumbrell behind him, and now he's going to get a great run on Nitschke as well. And that's what moved him up behind Crisdale. Now, how does he get past Crisdale? Because that's obviously the next move.
Race control, we've got a car on its roof at the back straight.
Oh, we're going to have to go back to live here because you could see that on the race control channel. I think Tim Nichols on his roof and in some trouble. Oh, that's a huge crash. Tim Nichols in all sorts.
Race control, requesting a tow.
And the other one, can you believe, is Greg Favell.
Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Greg Favell. What is going on?
Safety car,
We've got a safety car here on lap 12. Jamie McKnight leads the race. Greg Favell, who was leading by a country mile, has broken down. Tim Nichol is upside down. I wonder if that's a blown engine for Favell. Let's have a look at the Tim Nichol incident first of all. But this is huge, huge, huge. So here's Tim Nichol. What's going to go on here? He's by himself. He then gets up behind one of the Pecky Performance cars, gets up on the curb, loses the back end, and oh, it's one of those awful iRacing incidents where it sticks on the fence and then goes around. Now, what on earth happened to Greg Favell? This has got me beat because he was leading, and we're looking at him now. Here he comes.
Safety car, do I go around? I'm not leader.
Oh, I blew the motor. You saw that? Oh, that is such bad luck.
Yeah, 923 past
And
the safety
here we
car.
go again, listen.
543 past the safety car.
Oh, that is absolutely heartbreak.
Past the safety car.
Listen from on board. It was on the downshift.
307 past the safety car.
And he knew straight away, straight across the runoff area. And Greg Favell, that is absolute terrible luck for this man. So what can he do?
180
He
past
needs
the safety car.
some better luck here. And
77
check
past
it out from the chopper shot. It's a high speed part of the circuit, but as he came down the gears into the braking zone, there's that telltale puff of smoke. And all over Red Rover for Greg Favell tonight. He will be heartbroken with that. Let's go back to live, and we'll pick him up now behind the safety car. We're within, oh, we're not with him in the window, oh, and they're going to be one lap caution period. So to me, they're still probably a lap off being able to make it home here with a pit stop. So I wonder if everyone's going to stay out under yellow and not dive into the pits. They'll all have their calculators on. They've all been told it will only be a one-lap safety car. So to fuel up, it'll be a very much a line ball decision. Who will take the risk? Will they all filter in, take fuel, and try and limp it to the end of the race? We'll have to find out. Man, there's some hard luck tonight. That was an awkward crash for Nichol as well, because really it should have skimmed its way along that barrier. Let's have a quick look again. So just have a
Yep, safety car's reset. I'm just waiting at the pit exit. Pick up the leader.
So let's have a watch. This is on visor cam with Tim Nicol. So he gets up on the curb there, then he lights up the rear tyres, and then it's going to get into the fence, and it does one of these awkward manoeuvres, which iRacing is sometimes good at doing. And there you go, he's upside down in the car, and that's an awkward place to be for Timothy Nicol. So absolute heartache. So Jamie McKnight leads this one for Synergy Sim Racing. They're still flat out, these guys. They're trying to catch the safety car, which is just beyond turn 1, I think, from what I'm hearing. There it is, the Bay 21 Porsche safety car.
Just outside pit exit on the road.
So there's the safety car, and a fair way back is Jamie McKnight, just coming through now. So he'll start to back off a little bit, slow the pace down, no doubt, and then will they all dive into the pits? And is that why? In fact, he's not slowing the pace down, he's still flat out. I wonder if he's going to dive in. No, he's going to stay out. Will anyone dive in the pits? Yes, look who does. Crisdale, he's in the lane. So's McCune. No, McCune's not, but Dumbrell is. So the HSR guys have split strategy here. Greg Favell still stationary. So I wonder if this might be the perfect strategy, because those that have come in the pits, Crisdale, Hall and Gamble have come into the pits. Hunt's in as well. Kirby's in. Now,
upside down too, waiting Greg.
what that will do is, if they do one lap of caution, and they've been told they'll just do one lap only, when it comes around to, it'll be lap 14.
Race control, I thought I had to wait for the leader to pass me,
which is within the window.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
That's within the window of bringing it home on a two-stopper. So I reckon all these drivers that have come into the pits have made the correct decision.
Go ahead, Tim, if you haven't already.
Those that didn't come in, McKnight, McCune, Young, Nitschke, Matt Vanderkran and Stephen Banks. Everyone else has appeared to have come in. Peter Vanderkran stayed out as well. But that's put Rob Crisdale and Michael Dumbrell, in fact, in the perfect position to win this race. Now remember, Crisdale, he had to take more fuel on board there on that second stop because he short fueled the first one. So Dumbrell's been able to jump him up into what is 7th place, but basically first outright. And he only had to take 21.8 seconds worth of fuel versus Crisdale's 29.7. So Michael Dumbrell, well, there would be a bit of nervous energy right now for this man. He's already saving fuel. You can hear that. Clutch in. He knows what he has to do now, and that is save as much as he can, put the elbows out, and he could be on for a win tonight. I didn't see the grass, so I didn't take much notice. Was it? Are you guys having a shot at the grass here in iRacing, or was it actually all right? See what I can do. I can have a look at some grass. How's this grass texture? Not so good. Look at the trees. Sometimes the trees are beautiful. Sometimes they are not very beautiful. There you go. Got any movement? A little bit of movement in the trees. A bit of wind out there, so not a lot. If there's a little bit of movement, that means that there's obviously a teeny bit of wind. So let's have a look at the conditions now. Behind the safety car there, it's a clear sky. 18 degrees ambient, 20 degrees track temp. Someone just passed someone under yellow.
Matty Parker straight past.
So what's going on here?
Sorry, Damien's hands.
Check where the line was, man.
No. It's not you, Matty. It's Damien.
Sorry, buddy.
Right, we're under caution here. I'm going to give us about a 30-second break here, and I'll be back with you shortly and grab a quick drink.
Well, enjoying this track.
That's a good track. Driving there.
ready to come wave around? David, so far. So far, 88. Pass on the right hand side, all cars on the left side.
So we're getting set to go back to live at the end of this lap, and Favel's asking for a wave around there.
Unfortunately, because it was the one that caused it, yourself and Tim, so if we get another one, you will then, but for this one you don't, unfortunately. I'm sorry to go.
So that was just clarification that because they caused the incident, they caused the safety car, they're not going to get a wave around. So Favel and Nickel,
Safety car well up the track.
Nickel's trying to come right up to the back of the pack here. Greg Favel just arguing the point that he wasn't the cause of that safety car. It was more Tim Nickel that Favel blew the engine and was well off the track. So whether or not he's justified to argue that, we'll wait and see what race control will decide on the fly. But we are getting now down to the last quarter of the lap, so they're going to have to get set soon to send the Porsche safety car off on its way, and then go live back into racing.
Jamie, control the field.
So McKnight in control of the field. There goes the A21 Porsche safety car off into the distance, driven by the admin team tonight. Big thanks for this one. We've got Dave Coleman and Stephen Varga tonight in split one, so thanks Steve Varga. And Dave Coleman, of course. I think Steve in the safety car tonight doing a great job. He's got some experience around here, that's for sure. Right, we get set for a restart. So McKnight will be in control. This is a look back. It's McCune in P2, then Paul Young, Nitschke, Vanderkran and Banks. That top six yet to start to have their second pit stop. So to me, in a little bit of trouble. And lap 14, it'll be line ball whether or not everyone can make it to the end with some fuel saving, but Dumbrell is leading the pack of the two stoppers at this stage, ahead of Chris Dale, and then you've got Dan Hall up in third place of the two stoppers. So we'll probably see those that have already stopped for their second stop just take it a bit easy on this restart and just try and conserve as much fuel as they can. Jacob Neeser says, quick shout out to all the sponsors of this fantastic series. Thank you for the backing this series, and thank you to Taipan and RACESTARS TV for producing it. You're welcome, man. And yeah, big thanks to Quantum Tin Solutions, the big sponsor for this series with SimSpec Engineering, Bay 21. A big thanks also to Racecraft Race Simulators for their input. McKnight now sends it, gets on his way, and we're going to go back to green. So he's jumped nice and early there. And, well, a long way prior to the end of the lap. In fact, Jamie has said, right, I'm out of here. See you later, guys. Yeah, coming with me. Big Barry's in the house. Boy, yeah, let's go, he says. We're back to green flag racing. We're yet to cross the control line, but let's put the green light up because here goes McKnight through to start lap 14. Through the S as we go. And right on his tail, Scott McCune. Looking very racy. McKnight slow off the corner. Did he get a slowdown there? Because Paul Young also now attacks, and so does Nitschke in the background. So McKnight was very slow, and now we've got three wide. They say safety cars breed safety cars. Let's hope there's not an incident here, because three doesn't go into one, and hard on the brakes, the KFC car gets involved as well. And wow, they're compressed, aren't they, through there? That's McKnight stretching out in front now from McCune, and Nitschke just having to get the elbows out there. Dumbrell, who is the top driver that has already stopped twice, running in 6th, 2 seconds back now off the lead, but he won't be worried about that. If the top 5 have to stop under full green conditions, that will be a longish pit stop. There's Dan Hall sitting nicely in 8th as well. John King's inside the top 10 for JWM Motorsport with Travis Hunt, Gamble, Flavel in his wake. He goes Travis Hunt pulling out alongside now, going for the overtake. JWM car sits alongside, and that should be job done. The Hoff in the background also putting a move here on Warren Davis. Davis and Christian Smart gets the box seat of this one. He's getting a nice little tow here, then he backs out of the throttle. Christian Smart did take his second stop. I'm still very surprised this man leading the race didn't take that pit stop under safety car. Generally his rule is go in and get the stop done, and he was probably a lap outside where he needed to be on fuel numbers alone tonight.
Okay, Greg.
But how this is going to play out is going to be intriguing. Now Nitschke was wobbling then under brakes, lucky not to go into the back of the HSR car. We're on board with him now, and he's got Paul Young all over the back of him. There's a good shot showing Paul Young in that Banter Alliance car sitting in 4th place. Stephen Banks up 31 spots in the top 5, still needs to stop again as well. Knight not getting away. He'll be in fuel conservation mode, although someone who's not in fuel saving mode is this man Dumbrell. He's now about to attack Steve Banks. Will Wilson says it would be great to see Dumbrell get a win. He would absolutely love it, I reckon. There he is on board now with Michael, Hypersonic Racing driver. He's looking over his fuel numbers now. Can I zoom in on this? Check it out. Just look on the right hand side. He's got that iPad now. On the top of that, you can see the little red indicator and then the yellow indicator. I can't zoom in at all, can I? I was just trying to see if I could zoom in on his screen, and I can't get any closer than that. I'm going to try and see if I can. No, I can't. Whoop, we're going to lose it all there for a second. But what I was just saying, if you can see that little indicator, that's actually his fuel numbers on that right-hand side. And as long as there's a little bit of green at the top of that, he's okay for fuel. If it goes completely red, he's in a big trouble. So he's Will thought he was ordering coals online. No, he's looking at his fuel numbers. So he'll be all over that. He'll know when he needs to lift a bit and coast a little bit. It'll give him a plus and minus, and he just needs to keep it in the green, and he should be right to bring it home with possibly a win tonight. And that would be, like I said, so good to see for the HSR drivers. Top split. You got to feel for Greg Favell. He had this one in the bag again tonight, and the blown engine as McKnight comes into the pits. Now this is under full green. This is going to hurt these drivers. McKnight's in. McCune's coming with him. Did McKnight miss the entry there? He was across the grass, I think. But this is going to be really costly as far as track position. In fact, it's going to put them, I reckon, outside the top 20. Brenton Nitschke now leads the race from Paul Young and Stephen Banks. Then Dumbrell moves up into 4th. Dan Hall's up into 6th behind Crisdale. Crisdale's another one to watch here, because remember, he's made his second stop as well. So he's in a net 2nd position in this race at the moment. Hence why Dan Hall is pushing so hard. He knows he's on for a 2nd step of the podium too if he can get past Crisdale. And the excitement that must be happening right now for these drivers that haven't been on the podium in a Vets race yet, it must be intense. We've got to put full focus into the final quarter of this race now. We're on lap 15 of 22. Man, it's busy out on the racetrack too. Looking behind, you've got Travis Hunt all over the back of Kirby. Ahead of them, Young and... Oh, that's Favell retiring by the sounds of it, was it? It was. Greg Favell's just retired the car. He's come into the pits, and the word was he's retired the car. Sadly, so if he's watching the broadcast, that is terrible news, and we give a shout out to the Favell family that I know they tune in every week to watch Greg race. And tonight it wasn't to be. A blown motor has cost him what would have surely been a win. So we're looking now at Paul Young under attack from Dan Hall, who looks down the inside. Does he get it done? Oh, contact! Contact there. Who was to blame in that one? I've got to say it was probably a 50-50, but it looked to me like Paul Young maybe turned across onto Dan Hall and has created himself quite a damage on the side of the car. Have a look at that on a replay, and you guys be the judge. But to me, it was neck and neck, and he probably needed to give him more space than that. So here it was, Dan Hall down the inside. This is the replay, and we'll slow it down there. You'll just see Young, he bobbled a little bit as he came into the corner. If we jump on board with him, there's the overlap, and yeah, he moves across, and there's the contact, and around he goes off into the dirt. Race Control will have a look at that one and see how they deem it. So Young just asking Race Control to have a look. I reckon they'll probably deem that one either in favour of Hall, and Young will be the one penalised, or they'll call it a racing incident. That's my guess, looking at it from those angles. As Dumbrell now up into third, 2.3 seconds off the lead. Both drivers in front of him yet to stop for their second stop, so looking very, very good at the moment. Dumbrell, Crisdale and Hall. Can they get themselves a 1-2-3? Further back in the pack, Craig Friend here chasing down the Hoff. Some very different lines being thrown through these corners. There's Todd Parks for Synergy Sim Racing running in 21st. He's up 18 spots. He's made his second stop too, so he's in a nice little position tonight. He's closed right up onto the back of Friend and the Hoff. Warren Davis in front of them in this pack of cars with Greg Sharp. Then Paul Young recovered from that spin, dropped to 16th place. So considering he was running up in around 6th place at the time, that's been quite costly. Lap 16 now of 22. They're still lapping in the 3-minute 55s, the lead drivers. Nishiki did a 3:55.7, a 3:55.8 for Banks, and a 3:56.1 for Dumbrell, who's obviously got a number to meet here for his fuel strategy, and he's had to back it right back. I was just trying to see what Jamie McKnight's doing out there. He's back in 30th place, so he'll be probably hearing his own voice saying should have stopped at the pit stop, because you know how good he is at saving fuel. But he probably should have come in under the caution, and he's missed it by a lap. But I could be eating my words if this all goes pear-shaped for the drivers that have stopped under the caution on lap 12, and if they're all a lap short of fuel, that will change things around big time. Some big fuel saving going on there for Chad Lewis as we ride on board. And Jeff Thomas in a battle with Paul Preston. This is for 10th place. So Paul Preston, he's come up into this now. He's 11th place. Was down around 20th prior to the pit stops. Now he's done his 2 stops. He's got to hold out Christian Smart, who's starting to really work the back of him. Marty Hansen's next back in the queue. And Smart's just gone down the inside here on Paul Preston, who goes quite wide. That should be job done then. Christian Smart, did Hansen go along with him? No, he didn't. Hansen's just tucked in behind. So Preston back to 12th now. Christian Smart moves up into the top 11. And Jeff Thomas still rounding out that 10th position there. He is about 5 or 6 car lengths in front, chasing John King at the moment. So they're running neck and neck. The 2 JWM Motorsport cars are in 9th and 10th at the moment. Big clutch in for Lewis. I'm guessing that could be the theme, says Jacob Neasley. Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of fuel saving going on at the front of this pack as well. And, well, these 2 have got to stop surely now. Yeah, they're in the pits. So this is your race leader into the pit lane. This will release Michael Dumbrell to be leading this race with Crisdale just behind him. Now we're in for some nervous moments. No further action, car 923 causing contact on lap 15. So the 923 is Dan Hall. So that's the incident we spoke about before, Dan Hall and Paul Young. No further action required on that one. So looking back, Dumbrell, could he get a win tonight in the top split of the V8 Veterans? He's going to have to really conserve fuel. Stopped on lap 12. A couple of laps under caution, or a lap and a half under caution. Man, he can put a bit of that fuel back in the tank, but really, you've got to wonder if they're not a lap short. And I can still see, I'm trying to pinpoint that right-hand screen of his on the iPad. Can we see a number there, a minus or a plus on that IR pit crew to let us indicate whether or not he is okay for fuel? The thing is, Crisdale's on the same strategy, but how much of a difference in the fuel number is there? Remember, Dumbrell, he only took 21.8 seconds worth of fuel in the stop. I wonder if we regret just not taking a little bit more. Dan Hall on the same strategy. He took 22.7 in the second stop. Travis Hunt up into 4th. He took 22.6. Jim McKnight has to send it. He sure does. He's all the way back in 24th place, McKnight. So his real hope now would be if all the 2 stoppers that came in on lap 12 have to splash and dash at the end of this race, because the gap between himself and the lead, 49.8 seconds. Incredible. This is the battle for P1, and the lap times are 3:55.6 last time around, a 3:55.9 for P2. So they're still pretty quick laps considering. Dan Hall did a 3:56.4, and he's just been overtaken by Travis Hunt, who moves himself up into P2 now. So we've got the Scorpion eSports car into a podium position as he wags the tail and tries to get away from Dan Hall. We've got a car off the racetracks. Todd Parks has had a big old moment down there. He gets it going again, but has lost the front end off that car, the bonnet and front assembly missing. So I think he's done that all by himself by the looks of things. Have a look. Or was Jason Bentz involved? Here we go, into the braking zone. No, he just lost it by himself. Maybe distracted by the cone on the road. Got a tank slapper on and around he goes. Oh, and he did hit the fence too. That's where he lost the front end. This is Warren Davis and Chad Viger. Big thanks to Chad once again for out there racing well. And it's Rick I've got to thank actually for giving me the details. I get the Vigers mixed up sometimes. So Rick giving me the details for how much fuel they could take in that critical lap 14 being the big number to watch out for tonight. Marty Hansen's battling here with Christian Smart. Still behind Paul Preston, who's just moved away a little bit now. Paul Preston holding down 9th place for the Banter Alliance team. But eyes focusing at the front with 5 laps to go. Can Michael Dumbrell come home with a victory in this race. Can Robert Crisdale steal it away from him? In the background, there's 3 or 4 other drivers that would maybe fancy themselves a chance as well. You see the strategy, the top 6 on identical fuel strategies here. Will wants to know, Scorpion and Taipan eSports are linked? Nope, no, I don't think so. No affiliation at all. The JWM cars have just changed positions there, 7th and 8th. And Dave Kirby, he's also running very well tonight, isn't he, in the Fishy Motorsports, number 307. I get them confused sometimes. The livery is very similar to the Synergy Sim Racing livery until you look from the side and you see the fish. He's getting a real good run here on a couple of Evolution Racing Team cars. He's just going to get past Dan Hall, or is he? Scott Gamble's now jumped up into 4th. So they've also, I think, applied a bit of a strategic switch around there between Gamble and Hall. I tell you what, it's on, isn't it? So Kirby now alongside Dan Hall, who's got a little bit of damage on that car too. You'd think he'd probably want to jump in behind his teammate. This is actually disadvantaging him, the fact that Gamble's to the right of the track. Now he can tuck in behind, but all the while there, Kirby was stealing the slipstream off his competitor's teammate just up in front, and that helped him get right up onto the back of Dan Hall for Dave Kirby. So it's a big push to the end now. Lap 18. Don't forget, we're doing the Split 2 replay. Will be Sunday night, 8 o'clock. So tune in for that one. It's going to be huge. Back with Scott McCune, back in 23rd place. Can you believe? Racing here with Stephen Banks. He's a long way back, and he's getting some alongside action right now, and that should be job done. Puts him up into 22nd now, so they're a long way back. McKnight's just up the road from them in 20th place now. So, Split 3 broadcast will be tomorrow night. Probably be a bit earlier, considering I'm not doing the Split 2 at 8 o'clock. I'd say John will probably push that forward a little bit. Let's go back and have a look at the lead for a little bit here as we come towards the end of lap 17 or lap 18. Start lap 19. 0.4 of a second cover the top 2. Last lap was a 56, so they've just wound the throttle back by a second or so on the last lap. And the times that Travis Hunt did, he did a 55.3, so he's about a second quicker than the 2 in front on the previous lap. Can Travis Hunt steal a win tonight? That's also in play now as he closes up behind these 2 at the front. So it's HSR leads Down Under Sim Sports, leads Scorpion eSports, leads Evolution Racing Team, the top 4 cars. Gamble sitting back in 4th place with his teammate, 2 Evolution Racing car teams in the top 5. Then you got Fishy Motorsports in 6th place, and JWM sitting in 7th and 8th. Is Christian Smart in the pits? He is. Now this is telling, because will this be Christian's 3rd pit stop? I think it will be. Now this is important to note because no, it's not, is it? No, that's right. So he stopped because of that lap 1 incident. He came in very, very early. So I got a little excited there thinking that this was going to be the splash and dash that was required for the front runners, but doesn't look like it is. Christian Smart in for his 3rd pit stop. And Will Wilson needs his daily or weekly dose of Dave Baldock. We all do. I need a weekly dose of sleep, I can tell you that right now. It's been a big week. As we watch Travis Hunt make a quite easy overtake on Crisdale. And now move right up in behind Dumbrell. So surely Dumbrell is really feeling this pressure now. I just saw him look in his mirror on the race cam. He looks pretty cool, calm and collected. He's chatting away to his teammates. He's run out of beer, so that's not a good sign. He's got something else in the green bottle there. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's some performance enhancing water. But lap 19 of 22. Oh boy, that was close. Hunt all locked up under brakes, right nearly into the back of Dumbrell. Oh, and Dumbrell's just got a huge wobble on. That'll hurt his straight line speed. There goes Travis Hunt into the lead, so we saw it on board. That little wobble, he may even lose second place as well, and that was costly. And they wobble through there, just take the cone with him, so you can see that from the onboard. At the time, he just lit up the back tyres, and how quickly do things change around in this series. So there it was, you could just see the way he shook in the seat as well, lighting up the rear tyres, put him on the back foot, and Travis Hunt now leads this race for Scorpion Esports on lap 19. Jason Bentz is off the track. What's happened to Jason Bentz? He's off in the walls again. Comes back on 14th place. But back with the lead battle. We'll watch this through because I've got a feeling this is still going to change more than just what we've seen in the last 6 or 7 corners. I've got a feeling Rob Crisdale's holding back a little bit. He did a 57.0 last time around, so they've wound about 2 seconds now out of their race pace. And here goes Crisdale, closing up again, but then saving fuel. You can hear that 3/4 or half throttle. Whenever they're doing that, it's putting less fuel into the motor. It's meaning they can go longer in this stint. And we're an hour and 20 minutes into the race now. We're predicting that these top 3 in particular are going to be absolute line ball, whether or not they can make it to the end without needing that little splash and dash as we watch Visma and Preston fighting over 10th place. Good close battle here between one Banter Alliance car and 2 Taipan Esports cars, who are really hounding his heels right now. Sam Catacazina says, I swear Luke was an octopus in a previous life. Don't know how he manages so many things at once. G'day, by the way, mate. Great to see you. And yeah, I hope you're doing well, mate. Oh, look, it's into the pits. That's was that Visma into the pits on his second stop, into his third stop now. So I tell you, I'm actually getting very, very nervous now for these top drivers. I reckon they're going to need a splash and dash. We might look back at Dumbrell, and I just saw it. Check this out, folks. Let's have a look at Dumbrell. Look at that right-hand side when you can see that fuel. That's red. So he's definitely going to need fuel. And I reckon Hunt, Crisdale, Gamble, Hall, they'll all be in the same position here. And I'm trying to think back to who was the driver that went the latest on the pit stops. Let's have a look. I reckon, actually I'm trying to look back, is it right outside of that top 15? We might have to go back further. See if we can just bump that pit strategy up to the top 25 just so we can get a bigger picture here. There you go. So if we look down the list there, Jamie McKnight in 15th place. Now, he stopped 5 laps ago. So he's 2 laps or so in front of all these other drivers when it comes to the strategy. And what is he off the lead of the race? Jamie McKnight sits there 46 seconds off the lead. Jacob Neasley reckons he might be in with the sniff. Well, don't count him out. Last week we saw this happen. We didn't think he was anywhere. All of a sudden, he was up there on the podium. Nitschke's there as well, isn't he? So, Dean Favell about to be overtaken by Brenton Nitschke. That puts him one step closer to Jamie McKnight. And you got Jason Dixon also back in this pack with Scott McCune. So really you've got a lot of fast runners here in the bottom half of the top 20. And then you got these guys right at the front of the field, I think, on a splash and dash strategy, sadly, for Hunt, Dumbrell and Grisdale. I really was hoping to see Michael Dumbrell take a win tonight. I think he's driven so well across every series that I've covered here for the V8 Vets, and he deserves a win. It'll come one day, but I can see the look on his face in the webcam. There was a bit of a shake of the head before, and he knows now that, as you can see on that iPad, it's all red in that column now. The tank of fuel is showing a lot of red, which means you're not going to make it to the end. Here comes John King. Greg Sharp's there as well, and Preston. Then you got Hanson Stewart. There's a pass here between Dixon and McCune, was it? Yeah, Dixon goes up into 19th now. So there's Nitschke just up the road. I'm watching where McKnight is, so he's a couple of car lengths in front, 45.8. So that gap's coming down slightly too. The last lap around was a 3:55 for McKnight. And it's interesting to look at the last lap times, and I'll put that up on the left-hand side of your screen. Look at the drop-off. So last lap times, check it out, a 57, a 58, a 58, a 55, and then a 4-minute lap, 57, 57, 58, a 401, a 403, a 402, a 57, then a 4-minute flat, a 4-minute flat, and then you get to Jamie McKnight in 15th, 5 seconds quicker than the driver in front. That's where the fast crew is. Nitschke, a 55.9. For Vell, a 57.2, a 55.1 for Dixon, a 56.0 for McCune. So these are the guys that have got fuel to the end. They can go pedal to the metal. There's no worries for these guys. The ones at the front doing the 57s and the 58s now, they would have absolute sweat pouring off them, thinking this is our big trouble. And Jeff Thomas confirms it. He's gone into the lane. So Jeff Thomas confirms our biggest fear. Lap 21 of 22. King's in as well, Sharp's in, Preston's in, they're all coming in. So this is the splash and dash I was talking about. And wow, it's going to be huge. So Michael Stewart continues on. A shout out to the Balin Stewart Foundation as well. We haven't spoken about for a few weeks, but it's definitely an important topic which we need to come across and cover as many times as we can. Bend the blade for Balin and the Balin Stewart Foundation. Please go and check it out. Read the story. And get behind the cause, and our love goes to the Stewart family, and we'll continue to do so while ever we broadcast these events, and we keep Balin in our memory as well, and the incredible foundation that's come from such a tragedy. So please go read the story of Balin Stewart at the Balin Stewart Foundation, and it is a big part of what we do here is Dumbrell, Hunt and Crisdale. Oh, Dumbrell's back in the lead. But for how long? He's going to get the white flag in about 10 kilometres time. And that's your big issue, ladies and gentlemen, is that it's 13 and a bit Ks around this circuit. And yes, he leads, but that fuel number is surely now blinking red. I can see the little tank. Look how low it is now. It's right down in the red, and yeah, there's not much fuel at all showing there, is there, for Dumbrell? He's just pulled away from Travis Hunt, dropped back a long way. I think Travis is in a bit of trouble too. I wonder if the rear tyres are gone for Travis. You wouldn't think that this circuit is very, I mean, there is a lot of fast pace, high load corners towards the end of the lap, but you would think the tyres would hang on. But, oh wow, I could hear Dumbrell as he went past. Him and Crisdale both had the clutch in big time. Wouldn't it be incredible if they still sneak it home? We've got a pit lane penalty for the car 49 for an incident on lap 20. So he's in a bit of strife. Dixon's just moved ahead of Favell. This is for P15 now. McKnight's up into 12. And the gap to the race leader is now 42. So he's knocked about 4 seconds out of that again on this lap. Last lap was a 55 flat. Moving along nicely. McCune is also still trying to get past Banks here. He's right on his tail. Hasn't been able to displace him. Now I think he will. Bruce says, did Jeff Thomas pit, then come out in front of Jamie? That's a good pickup if he did. He did, didn't he? So that means these front guys, if they do need to splash and dash, still may hold track position over McKnight. It'll be super close. So, oh, you can hear that again. You hear that dipping of the clutch. It's happening everywhere. The 85 goes past us now. There goes the 727 of Chad Lewis. But Dumbrell, this is going to be heart and mouth stuff now. Is he going to come into the pits, or will we see the HSR competitor continue on for another lap? For a second there, I thought he was already out of fuel. He's just on about half throttle through the Porsche corners here. And here we go. To the lane or not to the lane. He's saving fuel big time. He's in the pits. Surely he's in the pits. No, he's not. He stays out. Dumbrell stays out with a lap to go here. It's win it or bin it. And he's either going to win this or he's going to run out of fuel on the last lap of the race. Dumbrell, look at that fuel line. And you can see the fuel light flashing just above halfway up that iPad screen. The fuel light is flashing for Michael Dumbrell. He's going to have to save so much fuel into every braking zone. The clutch is in. Crisdale's in P2. Right behind him, the back end of the car wags. And they got a 4.3 second buffer back to Kirby. Travis Hunt, he's not going to make it. He's in the pits. Michael Stewart as well. They're both coming to the lane. That moves Hall up into 4th, Gamble into 5th, Hansen up into 6th. Brenton O'Brien's going to move up into 7th now, which brings Jeff Thomas and McKnight up into the top 10. But Dumbrell, I've got everything crossed. I've got my legs crossed. I've got my fingers crossed here that he can win this one. We'll listen to the onboard. Crisdale's going to be in the same position. Surely both are going to just have to push the clutch in halfway down this straight and roll and roll and roll. There's the clutch. It's in now. Crisdale's closing up. Throws the clutch back out. Gives it a bit more throttle. Clutches again. And I think let's jump on board with Crisdale because this will give us an indication if he's doing the same. He was on an awkward trajectory into the corner there. Now listen to this. Is he having to do the same? Clutch multiple times down the straight. Listen for the clutch. He's closing up on Dumbrell. Dumbrell's probably saving big time here and he's going to move alongside. And clutch in. Dumbrell stays in there, but Crisdale goes through into the lead of the race. Is that the big pass, the opportunity gone begging for Dumbrell? Has Crisdale got that little bit extra fuel in? We noted that he did the extra lap earlier on that first stint. He fuel saved so well at the start of the race. And with half a lap to go, Michael Dumbrell is pushing alongside, clutch in again. 2.3 seconds back to Dave Kirby as well. So Dave Kirby is closing in very quickly in the Fishy Motorsport car. He could be in for a win tonight. It's going to come down to the last few corners. And Dumbrell still sitting there cool as a cucumber. That red light flashing on the dash. Has he got anything left in the tank? He just had a quick look at the fuel there. He probably doesn't want to know. What are we? We're now 65% through the lap. The top three separated by 0.8 of a second. Kirby's in this. Dave Kirby, look out. He's just gone flying past Dumbrell. He's up into P2 now, Dave Kirby, for Fishy Motorsports. He's eyeing off a win here. If he's got fuel in that car, you won't stop him tonight. Dave Kirby on the throttle. And he's just got one more driver to try and overtake here, and he will take a win in this V8 Vets, round number 2 from Le Mans. Dumbrell sits behind P3. I don't think he's got anything left, sadly. It's going to come down to Crisdale. He's blocking. He moves across the racetrack. Dave Kirby sends it to the inside, and I reckon he's going to take the lead of this race, and he is. Oh, Crisdale fights back down the inside, the big send. Kirby comes back at him. We've only got this high-speed section of the track to go. Dumbrell's dropped way back now. Can he hang on for third even? I'm not sure. He's so far back. He's dropped out of shot. Is he hoping that these top two fight and run out of fuel or even get together? and he can still come home for a win. There's only a couple of corners to go. There is Dumbrell. He's out of fuel. Crisdale hanging on. Just the S's to go now into the chicane. He's all locked up. He's going to miss the entry, is he? No, he's not. Now he runs wide on the exit. It's so close between the two. The run to the checker flag. Crisdale gets the power down and takes the checker flag for round number 2 of this V8 Veterans. Kirby's out of fuel on the line. He stops and he revs it up across the line. Dumbrell gets third in the end. Whoa, what could have been? There's Dumbrell on your screen. Oh, he thinks, oh man, just a little bit of extra fuel and he would have had that. But Crisdale with the win tonight by 2 seconds in the end over Kirby and Dumbrell. What a fantastic race. Dan Hall comes home for 4th. Scott Gamble 5th place. Great job. Brenton O'Brien puts 3 Evolution Racing Team cars in the top 6. He gets 6th tonight ahead of Jamie McKnight 7th. And Jeff Thomas 8th ahead of Dixon and Nitschke to round out your top 10.
Good race, boys.
Greg Sharp got 11th in the end ahead of Marty Hansen, Smart, then King, Favell, Hunt, Preston, Lewis and Jason Bentz down there 19th. McCune takes 20th place. Viger, Friend, Visma, Stewart and Davis are there as well. What a great race. We'll wrap it up shortly. We'll give you the all the results. And, well, we'll try and dissect what happened there. It came down to the wire with fuel. The one man was able to hang on and take the win. Robert Crisdale. He got it done tonight. Live on RACESTARS TV, we're at Le Mans. This is round number 2 of the V8 Veterans. We'll come back shortly with the interviews of your favourite 3 drivers here tonight, plus all the results up on the screen as soon as they're made available from iRacing. Race results up on the screen now, and there it is. Robert Crisdale by 2.9 seconds in the end over Dave Kirby and Michael Dumbrell. Your top 3, Hall, Gamble and O'Brien rounds out the 6 with 3 Evolution Racing Team cars there. Linus Stern, well done to them. Jamie McKnight fought back to 7th ahead of Thomas Dixon Nitschke, your top 10. What a result, what a race. All the way down there you can see some drivers. Fewens finished 28th, Todd Duggan 35th. The Hoff in the end 38th, couldn't manage better than that. Greg Favell is the story of the night, 41st place, and out of the race with a blown motor. That is heartache for him. Let's bring in the top drivers now, and Rob Crisdale, what a great race tonight. It came down to the wire. The fuel saving was key in the end. Robert, tell us about your race, mate. You've got yourself a fantastic win in the top split of the V8 Vets.
Wow. Just wow. Oh, I don't know how I did that. I'd worked out a plan beforehand about short fueling the middle stop, and then that worked out all right. But I think, well, safety car certainly helped. Oh yeah, I don't know, that was the hardest fuel save I've ever done in my life, I think. Just trying to manage where I was at, looking at my fuel numbers on my screen, just like, and yeah, and Dave coming at me at the end is, wow, sweating my ass off.
Well, that's what I was thinking about. I mean, you're obviously trying to save fuel. All of a sudden, you have to put the elbows out and try and defend as well. Talk us through those last, through the S's, the chicane at the end. What was going through your head, man?
I just knew if I can just get to the S's, I can then control the speed. And I could just see I just watched my fuel numbers. I was going -1, -1. I was like, oh God, please, this can't be that hard, surely. But yeah, and Dave put up a good valiant end, but yeah, I just had to get it in that last part, and then I just coughed. Literally as I came out of the last corner, I coughed, and that was it. So.
Such a good race, well done, mate. And Dave, like, the pressure at the end was incredible, mate. Fishy Motorsports up on the second on the podium for a top split V8 Vets. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Luke, and yeah, good to be second round in and visiting these guys. But yeah, that was a massive chase with Dumbrell and Crisdale there at that last lap. I was good for fuel the whole way, so I was full noise, but Yeah, he defended well through the Porsches, and not too sure, Rob, if you got a slow down there in the last set of chicanes there, but
Luckily,
yeah.
no.
Thankfully, no, I did. So, congratulations on the win, man. That was an epic battle there at the end, guys. What a finish.
Yeah, great job. And Michael, you had, I think, everyone from RACESTARS TV, everyone that's ever watched a broadcast cheering you on there for the win, mate, but it wasn't to be. Just, what, you need another half a litre in the tank maybe to bring it home?
Yeah, mate, I just misjudged it, and I saw Dave coming, and I was like, nah, I can't even do anything about it. I don't even know if I'm going to finish. But yeah, I was devastated. If I had maybe started that fuel save a tiny bit earlier, I might have made it. But yeah, what a race! Like, and the other two boys, Rob and Dave, what a race from them too. Like, I think my last lap, I was on the clutch pretty much the whole lap. So, yeah.
I've never heard anyone have to do multiple fuel saves down a straightaway. I think it's about 3 or 4 times down each straight you're putting the clutch in.
Yeah, I was panicking. I was like, oh, I'm not going to make this, I don't think. And yeah, it was funny. But yeah, made it in the end. Not enough to do a burnout, though. So,
yeah, I don't think anyone had enough to do a burnout tonight.
Yeah, it was a great race, though. Like, I'm covered in sweat. I don't know if my camera's still on, but I'm so hot at the moment.
No, your camera's off, mate, so you can relax. But it was good to see. I was actually loving tonight on the broadcast. We could hone in a little bit on your IR pit crew on your iPad there, and we could actually see that you're in fuel trouble. We could see it go down to the red, which was really cool to point out to people that, oh no, he's in fuel trouble.
Oh yeah, it was red for a long time. So yeah, it's using an average that's higher than what I was actually consuming.
Yep.
So yeah, I had to use my dash to figure it out, a bit of mental math, and yeah, no, I was, like I said, I was panicking, and when Dave went past, I was like, oh, and then the guys just ran away, and I think, I was on the clutch, and I can't drive like that, so I almost binned at one point, just riding the clutch like that. So anyway, it's good times, but yeah, congratulate Rob on the win. Both of you guys in vets for the first time, so congratulations.
Yeah, couple of newbies, yeah, round 2 newbies on the top 2 steps. So well done, boys.
There's no way I was passing on the straights, Michael.
I saw you sitting there and I was like, is he going to do it? I'm like, no, all right, I'm touching it then.
I just didn't have a good enough run to get Rob down the end of the straight there either. I was like, almost got there, just couldn't get there. I wasn't going to put up a fight. I think you guys knew that. So, yeah.
Well, you all deserve...
Because he's like, you might win this, Dumbrell, and... I said to Scott, I was like, yeah, I'm not winning it now, thanks, mate.
We all deserve a cold beer now and a cold shower, so well done, boys. It was a great race. This track, a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be long and boring, but it seems to always work for the V8 vets. That's, I think, the last 2 or 3 times we've come here, it's been exciting to the end, so well done. Robert, who would you like to thank, mate, for the win tonight? You've won yourself the second round of the V8 Vets Season 12 Championship.
If I can remember everybody, but down under Sim Sports, the team, Blue Stampede, Labour Hire, Core Engineering, who else? Lux. Those guys are always sponsor us at the moment. We're sort of fairly new team, so good for them to see us on the podium. So bring on the next one. Well
done. And then Dave Kirby for Fishy Motorsports. Who would you like to thank, man?
Of course. Firstly, I'd just like to thank, obviously, Fishy Motorsports, West End Motor Group, Black Wolf Graphics, DC Shades, Adrenaline Images, Precision Sim Training, and Relax Marine and Game Fishing. And just want a big shout out to Jamie Dyke, who gave up his night tonight to sit there and crew chief for me. So all the strategy and stuff went down to him. So thanks, Dykey.
Awesome job. And then finally, Michael Dumbrell, P3 tonight. Who would you like to thank for HSR, mate?
Obviously all the HSR boys. I've been practicing pretty hard all week. Jace was out sick tonight, but yeah, just the boys. Obviously been the blade for Balin. We're always in support of that.
Yep.
But yeah, we don't have any sponsors, so thank the other boys and yourself, obviously. Always do a good broadcast, and Ben and the team. So yeah, I'm having an absolute ball in pets, so I'm glad I joined.
Awesome, man. Now next week we're off to Oran Park, so any thoughts on that? The experience there? It's a tight track, 45 cars around Oran Park. It's going to be mayhem, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a cluster, you know what.
Jeez, I thought I was going to have to bring out the Jamie McKnight for a second there.
We go from this to that one.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts, Michael, going there in these cars? Obviously, the King can turn 2 at Oran Park could be mayhem, sending 40 or so cars in there.
Yeah, it's not my favourite. I think you saw the Hyper race.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. It's too small for me, to be honest. And my cousin had a pretty bad car accident there too, so it's not my favourite.
Yeah.
But I'll just get in there, and sure, 45 cars is going to be awesome. Can't wait.
What about you, Robert? Thoughts on Iron Park?
It's not my favourite track, to be honest, but it's just one of those tracks like everybody got to stay on it to win it. So.
Yeah. And Dave, your thoughts on it?
Look, I think it's just going to bring back memories of Bella Isle on Tuesday night in the night series. So with 50 cars on there and 45 around Iron, it's going to be qualifying. I think it's going to be key. And then just get through that first lap, first three corners or so, settle into a rhythm, and watch everybody else fall into the weeds in front of you and make up spots, and just keep your nose clean.
Well, thanks, boys. Take care. We'll see you at Iron Park next week for a big one, and great racing tonight. Robert Crisdale, winner tonight from Dave Kirby and Michael Dumbrell. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, mate. Catch it.
Cheers. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been fantastic having you, and Rob Crisdale takes his maiden win in this series, and what a great job he did. So thanks for everyone that tuned in and was part of the broadcast. Thanks to all our star senders as well, absolute legends we had tonight: Deborah Favell, Keith Logan, Maddie Wins, and Christine Cairns, and Tyson Hammer as well. Thanks, guys. Everyone that tuned in, put on some comments and was part of that. You guys are a big part of this as well. Well done. Until next time, take care, look after each other, and we'll see you on Sunday night for the replay of Split 2, which would have just wrapped up as well now. So good night.